Okay, this is day bloopity bloop of talking for 10 minutes a day to a camera. The other day in the little online community that I'm a part of, Creatopia, someone had posted, shout out to James, that you kind of have to it's definitely helpful to figure out your why and the deeper meaning to your why, and without that you kind of don't have a direction in where you're taking your content or where you're going. And I've been feeling kind of, I don't know, floaty, if that makes I don't think that makes sense, but it makes sense to me, in the sense that I don't really know, I know my why, but I wanted to just talk about it more and process it and figure out, and hopefully maybe by the end of this video, if I don't have my why, at least I'll have some more direction as to what that is necessarily. And so when I think about content creation and just content creation, I guess my biggest thing would be there's a few things behind it. One being, sorry, I got really close to the camera, I know, personal bubble, but one of the things would be to first share Christ with others. I think it's cool that we live in a time and age where you can kind of just post whatever and people will see it. And I know there's different opinions about that, but I think it's personally awesome. Coming from a background where a lot of my family and a lot of my friends, a good amount of my friends that are close to me live in different countries, I think it's great. And a lot of my family lives in different countries, and so I think it's amazing that we just are able to connect in that way. And of course there are some caveats to it, and there's always going to be a pros and cons list to being this interconnected and all this stuff, but I think I think that with social media, it's a great tool to reach other countries and reach other people, even within just my state or within the country I'm in, to hear the gospel and hear and talk about Jesus Christ. So that would be my biggest thing. And whether it's me directly saying Jesus loves you and all these things, or it's me living life or vlogging my life, that in itself would glorify God. That would be my biggest thing. And that's not to say that every single person who's Christian needs to be out there posting Jesus loves you, blah blah blah. There are so many ways that you can spread Christ without I don't know, straight up giving Christian content, whatever that means. That's personally my opinion. That could ruffle some feathers, but I think Christ is more powerful than we give him credit, because he can take someone's lifestyle choice as a Christian and use that to speak to people who have never heard the gospel before, if that makes sense. Anyways, that would be my overarching why, would just be to spread the gospel and tell people about Christ, whether directly or indirectly. But a branch of that would be monetary reasons. I genuinely just want to retire my parents. It's weird saying it because I think that it's a dream that a lot of people have, especially my Filipinos out there, shout out. But it's kind of scary to say out loud because you're okay, I kind of have to commit to it now, saying it out loud. And I don't have to commit to it, but I want to, and so it makes it scary. I'm currently in this ministry for seniors graduating, and we're talking a lot about our life and our life story. We literally had to write down our entire life story, and it was kind of emotional because I'm the oldest daughter, oldest kid, and there was a point when I was really, really, really little, like fresh out of the womb. Not really, but like I was young, and my dad would take night shifts and my mom would take day shifts, and they would meet at the bus stop, and my mom would pass me off to my dad, and my dad would like come home. And like that to me just is what resonates and what stands out whenever I think about retiring my parents, is because they just work so tirelessly for me and my siblings that I want to do the same thing for them. Like, I want them to have a break, and I want them to experience life. I think something that like parents do is, especially like I don't know if this is just an overlapping theme, but like Asian parents in general just tend to like once your family started, they kind of like neglect everything else, which is so sacrificial, but they deserve more than that, and I believe that. And so that would be my biggest why behind it. They work so tirelessly for me and my siblings to be able to live in an apartment like this close to my campus, for food on my table, and all these things, so I can get an education. Like, that is my biggest goal, is for them to not have to worry about like whether the next month's bill is gonna get paid. The next thing I would say is financial freedom, to be able to like do things and give. I think I'm very blessed in the fact that like for me, when I think of money, I'm not like latching onto it, and there's some ways that I like have have like kept myself in check, so I don't get the mentality of like the scarcity mindset, or like I don't know, like be so, I don't know, tight with money, if that makes sense. That's not to say like I'm out here, free balling, giving everybody like $50 bills, because I don't have $50 bills. But I think I would love to be able to just like give money. I have a few friends who, being pretty heavily involved in like the world of ministry, I have a lot of friends who are ministers, who are mission workers. I don't really know the term for it. And I want to be able to like help them and support them financially, and I think that would be great. And just like realize that like the money that I earn is not my money but God's, and have the ability to just give in that way, I think would be great. And just provide my family and the people that I love with like a good life. And that's I don't know, I feel like so superficial every time I talk about money, because like I don't know, but it just like it comes from a good place, and there's gonna be like some bad intention in there because we're human, and there's not gonna be 100% good intention behind it. But the biggest thing for me would just be to like help out financially and retire my parents, but overall spread the gospel and glorify God through that. And also just to provide community for people. I think that like our world is so isolated despite being so connected, which is kind of weird, but it can be really isolating, and just providing someone with a face on the screen who is like an actual living person dealing with some of the things that they're dealing with can really mean a lot, and can really speak to a person's isolation and loneliness despite just being on a screen. And I know there's only so much that can do, clearly, because I'm talking right now to a screen and it's like, okay, that's it. But there is some sort of like comfort knowing that someone else is going through the same things that you're going through. And I think that's also why authenticity is such a big thing now, because we're really, as a generation, as a society, tired of all the, I don't know, overly done, like super polished media that's out there, and we just want the real thing, something that'll make us feel and relate to, and like realize that all those highlight reels are not actually what they seem, or are just like a small portion of someone's life. And so I think overarching and like having those little sub whys of sub branches of my whys helps a lot. And I don't know if I'm fully in terms or understanding what my why is, but those are big parts of it. And I think that's a good start, good place to be, and I can continue to refine it and stuff. And yeah, those are my 11 minutes. This is becoming the 12-minute challenge because I keep yapping past the 10-minute mark. I just have so much to say, apparently. But yeah, I will see you tomorrow. Bye.